Hi empaths, welcome to Heart Space Wellness Alliance. Here's my healing room. Let's get started. Hi empaths, welcome back to my healing space. We're back for another intuitive reading. I'm going to use my angelic tuning fork to clear the space, clear my energy, clear your energy if you tune in. Invoke angels, guides, compassionate ancestors, beings of the light, to help inform this reading, make it an accurate message of priority that will resonate with the listener. Good. Let's pull an angel card from the original angel cards to see what the focus of this reading is. Sisterhood, brotherhood. Is there a group of people that you can call on for support if needed, or that you feel that you're valued in? You feel you have a place there. Is this a blind spot for you? I took a class from the author of the Micro Chakras. I think his name was Sri Bhatnagar. And he talked about how when a woman doesn't have a brother, it doesn't grow up with brothers, it's hard for her to see men as, it's more challenging for her to see men as anything but a lover, or she doesn't have that kinship with men. And it might be true if she doesn't have a sister too, interestingly. I sort of felt that for a while. And then also if a man doesn't experience having a sister, he might find it hard not seeing, he might find it hard placing women as a friend and having that kind of intimacy, right? With a woman, and not knowing how to deal with that, or manage kinship in that way. And probably similar if he doesn't have a brother, right? It might feel awkward in bonding with other men. It's very interesting, right? So is there a blind spot here as well, is what we're looking at. I'm being called to pull from the Romance Angels Oracle card deck. So this might, that might have been, I'm not surprised anymore, but I might have been onto something there, basically, huh? Might have been onto something. So I'm pulling from the Romance Angels Oracle card deck by Doreen Virtue. I'm just called to pull from this deck. I haven't used it yet in these readings. And I don't use it that often, but we'll see. We'll see what the Romance Angels have to say. about sisterhood, brotherhood. Right, that's a little too many. They really want to speak. That's what happens when I don't use them. Just a few cards. We don't want to make this too long. Just a few cards about the topic of sisterhood, brotherhood. What are we looking at here? What does this mean? Is there another card, or is that it? One more card? Maybe not. Let's see. Okay. That makes sense. Very soon. Very soon. Are you waiting on something? Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life and getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Was there a separation in your life with someone you sensed you were meant to have a kinship with, at least a friendship with? I know this is the Romance Angels deck, but was there like a missed opportunity or missed connection, like Craigslist? Not quite like Craigslist, but something more substantial that was already sort of in play, right? There was someone in your life maybe that you sensed was meant to have a more significant role, and it was just a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of miscommunications, maybe a lot of wounding triggered, and awkwardness maybe just not understanding each other or each other's role. So it kind of dissolved. It just became, there's just the separation now, because it was like, well, what are we doing here? This isn't making any sense. You were on different pages maybe. Sometimes there's a false start, right? The timing's a little off. You magnetize somebody who is meant to be a bigger part of your life, but it's not the right time, or one is not able to value the other in the same way, or there's something that's not learned yet or seen yet. And space is required for that, time, maturation maybe, So very soon is an indication that, this reconciliation is coming. It's on the horizon here. You just have to decide if you're going to open to it, right? Are you open to this? Someone from your past is returning. So, and it's interesting that in both of these cards, in the imagery, the feminine is leaning back, right? The posture is the same, right? It's like the male energy has her back. He's coming in from behind. Interesting, right? And I think this is speaking of energies, not gender, right? So the party that carries more of the masculine energy, maybe the person that feels the magnetic pull and makes the decision to come forward, come in, right, to make the movement, to do the outreach. And then the more feminine energy, whichever one you identify as, the more receptive, right? The feminine energy in the connection is generally the one who says yes or no, right? Who creates the timing, right? In the, when the masculine energy, because generally that's associated with testosterone, and that's like, wanting to accelerate physical affections and things. And then the physicalization, right, of the connection, the feminine energy is generally the one who's more guarded, the one who feels more like prey as opposed to being the hunter, right? The one who's hunted, right? But also indirectly, the power is in the indirectness of the feminine making the choice, right? So, the feminine has all these tactics to attract and magnetize the masculine. And it feels like this reconciliation, if you choose to move forward with each other, in connection, right, being connected in the physical world, there will be a time of getting to know each other, of revealing yourselves to each other, deepening the bond, building trust again. That was probably that may have been destroyed or damaged in some way, that created the separation, or that just dissolved in this time and space, and now you're strangers. You feel a little more like acquaintances, but I would say go inside and really consider, is this something worth cultivating? Is this something worth your time and energy and effort and emotional energy, right? Emotional investment. Is it worth it? Do you still feel connection here? Only you can say. Your heart knows, right? Your heart knows. Is this worthy of considering this person as part of your sisterhood or brotherhood, or allowing them into your inner circle in that way? You know, some people, boundaries are the space at which I can love you and myself, you know, at the same time. I think that's how, I might have butchered that. But, you know, there's truth in that if I can't have peace and give someone love when they're in my life, maybe it's best to do so at a distance so that I'm stable. Perhaps, you know, there's too much wounding. Maybe there's too much deception and betrayal to repair. But again, only you can decide. Consider that. Let's see what aspect of self from the archetype cards by Carolyn Meese wants to come forward in this relationship reading about reconciliation, about sisterhood and brotherhood. Okay, so a couple wanted to come out, and again, it might be because they were stuck together, but I don't want to. I want to take it because it tends to make sense. So, visionary and warrior. Visionary and warrior. Perhaps one of you is more of the visionary, right? That's often represented as the high priestess in the tarot. One of you may be the warrior, more, you know, in your body, physicalized, masculine, right? I mean, the feminine can be a warrior as well, and she's in her power, but when he or she or they are in their power, the visionary light attributes the capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. The shadow attributes selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. And interesting, right? Clearly decide before we see it, right? So that's going to require some vision to be able to decide here. It's something that's not yet conceivable, right, to others. And consider your motives for wanting this reconciliation. If you do, is this about appeasing your ego? Maybe that's not the best for all involved, right? Is this really a heart connection? Is this really someone who you care about? And then warrior, the light attributes: strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Shadow attributes: treating ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. So again, this is speaking to, are you coming from ego here? I think there's something really beautiful and poetic about being a warrior for love. Like, if this is your heart's longing, if this is someone that's important, that you just feel like maybe there was misunderstanding, missteps, that the bonding didn't quite have a chance, right? Are you able to call on your inner warrior? And be willing to sacrifice the ego, right? Willing to put the ego aside and come forward. This is the masculine energy, right? And maybe if you're dealing with the masculine, the question will be, will he or she or they come back in with the voice of the ego? Still downplaying the connection, not really revealing the feelings or emotions, not really allowing you to see how much you're valued, kind of downplaying that there was so much so much separation and silence. And are you able to see that and maybe have compassion that, that's out of fear? And maybe not accept it at face value, right? It's this dance. It's not going to be like they're always transparent. There's people's fears, deepest fears come into play when we're talking about romantic relationship. It's just our deepest wounds. If a person is coming at you as a warrior in relationship, they have been hurt. They have been wounded, right? They have been betrayed. It makes me feel a little emotional, actually. Like, can you have compassion for that? Not accept bad behaviors and maybe playfully call them out on that, but are you able to have compassion for their wounds and see, okay, he's coming at me with protector energy because he's protecting. He, she, they. I apologize for the pronouns. I'm working on getting better at that. I am an ally, right? I want to represent all. Are you able to see and have compassion that the fact that this person comes forward as the warrior, the protective part, that it's due to immense pain that they were put through, and maybe they are a sensitive at heart, maybe they are even a romantic at heart, but that has been deeply wounded and scarred. So now the fact that they want to come forward and come towards you, it speaks to the connection, the fact that they're willing to risk their ego being obliterated again. Can you have compassion for that? Can you have a vision for the best case scenario, a vision for forgiveness, a vision for, if this is a spiritual connection, right? If you're destined to have this close connection that may or may not become romantic, it needs to start with a sense of friendship, right? You got to like being around each other. It's got to be a sense of I was once told by a really great, a trusted healer who was brilliant. She was a visionary. Speaking of visionary, she was clairvoyant and would see people that would, men that were going to come into my life as romantic interests. She once saw, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a man coming in, dark hair, glasses, tattoos, Hispanic, and he'll be here in probably around 3 months because he's in the third layer of your aura right now. I'm like, what? Wow. So she truly did have vision. She was clairvoyant. And I find that fascinating, right? Because that speaks to the fact that it does start in the spiritual plane first, right? That we're connected energetically. And that's why this is being asked of you, right? This person may already be putting out feelers energetically. The masculine is very sensitive to vibration and resonance and can sense. That's why oftentimes relationship coaches will say, if you're filling in the void by constantly thinking of somebody, you keep them away from you, right? Because you're filling in the gap psychically. So if you can pull back and stay aligned and focus on purpose, right? Can't go wrong by focusing on your life purpose, right? That's what we're here to do. Instead of, taking time to visualize, maybe meditate and repair and allow any sort of pain and concerns to come to the surface, right? So that you're more maybe prepared when they come forward. To speak on that from a place of neutral emotional place, right? And say, well, my concern is that the last time this happened and it created this rift, and then it just didn't feel like we could move forward from that place. So why did that happen, and how can we prevent that from moving forward, right? So there is the value in and in giving energy to this, right? In that way. Preparing through emotional resonance in that way. Deciding, right? Decision and commitment is very important as far as bringing a vision into fruition. But we don't want to, my point was, we don't want to fill in all of the space with our thoughts and energy and vibration, right? Because then there's no room for the masculine to come forward, right? Assuming that you identify as the feminine energy in the partnership or this connection, this sisterhood or brotherhood. Could the misunderstanding be from just this misunderstanding because you didn't have a sibling of that gender, right? So it's like there's this misunderstanding about how to act, and there's this awkwardness. Like, I never quite understood how to talk to insert man, woman, right? I never really quite understood how to interact. So, and that's part of the journey, part of the learning. Maybe there is just this blind spot that, oh, I misspoke, or they said hurtful things, and maybe it wasn't coming from malicious intent. Maybe most likely it wasn't, right? Probably it was a moment of intense fear or desperation or confusion, inner chaos, probably based on fear of engulfment or fear of abandonment, and then they just said the wrong thing, and then it led to exactly what they were fearing, right? Or vice versa. So can we have compassion and forgiveness here? I'm just shuffling the Rider-Waite deck. Any other cards want to come out? Yep. Yep. So the Queen of Pentacles, nurturing, grounded queen who has financial security, you know, has that part of her life together, very nurturing. Think earth signs, earth element. And it doesn't have to be your sun. You know, I have a lot of Virgo in my chart, so it can be something like that. It can also be the element, right? When you look up your chart, if you know your birth time, you can look up your natal chart at astro.com and see the balance of elements as well, which I love because I work with the elements. And for me, it's it's primarily earth and water, right? Makes mud. But I also have a healthy dose of fire, so no air. But that might be something to consider, like, what is the balance of elements here? So this could be representative of you or your person, based on the element as opposed to the zodiac sign, right? There are different ways to interpret. And then the Seven of Pentacles shows up. This is someone who is enjoying the fruits of their labor currently, and this is minor arcana, and this well, they're both minor arcana, but you can see there's a separation in maybe age and maybe status. So that might be part of the misunderstanding here. One's insecurities might trigger the others, and just lots of misunderstandings here, just because maybe there are different points in life path, you're at different points in your life paths, or one is from a family of a certain status, right? Financial status, and the other is from a different different status, and so there's this insecurity or judgment. Maybe there's judgment here, but indeed these two are lovers. This is a soulmate connection, right? See the angel watching over the connection, right? Even in the spaces, see, even in the distance, they're approaching now. But and interesting, the feminine is looking up at the angel, the temperance angel from the temperance card, and also the lovers, I believe, represent Gemini. I think that's the zodiac sign, so there might be a Gemini influence here. But anyway, so you can see the feminine is looking up at the angel. While the masculine is focused on the feminine. The masculine energy is more connected to the warrior archetype, right? And the feminine energy, which whoever that is, right, is more connected to the visionary, right? Looking up the heavens, divining, you know, connecting to spirit energy, and the masculine may find divine connection through his feminine, his, her, their feminine, right? I'm working on the pronouns. So it does require vision here. But I mean, despite the differences in status, right? Despite the difference in age or maturity levels, or what leg of the journey each is on. You know, despite all of those things, this is the potential, right? This is a possible outcome here. So let's see what crystal I'm going to pull from the Healing Crystals playing cards deck, and see if there is a crystal that wants to inform us through its vibration about this connection. This soulmate. You know, and if one or both of your egos gets in the way and there is not union, there is not a reconciliation for some reason, and the cards are not put out onto the table, figuratively and literally, just know that this was mutual, right? It just might not have, people have free will, and maybe the ego was too strong. But know that you know, the connection was real. So let's see if there's a crystal that wants to come forward. And lend its vibration. I've been very long-winded in these past few readings. Man, I want to be more concise. That's one of my goals. Okay, let's see if there's a crystal that wants to talk to us about this connection. Ugh. See if there's a crystal. One crystal, let's be specific, right? One crystal that would like to lend its light and vibration to inform us further about this reading, bring it together. Maybe we can access this vibration or state to be in a more receptive or be more open to receiving this reconciliation or achieving this reconciliation. Let's see. Blue quartz. Blue quartz. Communication, connection, clarity. And it's a 6. That's for harmony, relationship harmony. It's a 6 of clubs in this playing cards deck. 6 is about harmony in relationship. So these are all the things that we're talking about here, right? Communication for the reconciliation, and clarifying our vision, the vision of this, so that we can clearly decide. It's coming very soon. So blue quartz, and let's see what essential oil might want to lend its aroma to. This romantic or, you know, soulmate relationship. Grapefruit. great scent. Grapefruit, nourishment. The trigger statement is, it's all my fault. The true statement is, I see what I truly need. I see what I truly need. Your energetic body needs nourishment, so begin to discern physical hunger from spiritual hunger. Cherish your body and the way it supports you. Incredible. Grapefruit. See what you truly need so you can make a decision. Let's end this with Crazy Sexy Love Note by Chris Carr. One card. Listen. Listen. Listen to the other person's point of view. Listen to guidance about what to do in this scenario. Listen. I hope this was helpful in some way. If it wasn't for you, please share with anyone who you think could benefit from this message. Like and subscribe so I know I'm on the right path. More information than description. Many blessings to you.